Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with EightSix. I need to shoot some shade, unfortunately, at Redragon for something before we go too deep. This is the keyboard they call the K617 Fizz, but it's a far cry from the K617 Fizz from 2 years ago. I think it's important that a company denote major differences in their naming, even if it's just Revision 1 or Fizz Magnetic. In their defense, they do call it the K617M, but that's kind of hard to find until you've got it. Something to avoid confusion would be great, with just some different things to point out different product names, or maybe just a totally different name altogether. So yes, this is both the same and a very different keyboard from the one I looked at already. Let's jump into it. This is a 61 key mechanical keyboard using Redragon Mag Pinks, similar to a Red if you're wondering, set on an undampened plastic bezel weighing in at 532 grams by my scale. I did see some opinions on this keyboard and I wanted to touch on a few things. One such concern was brought that if you add lube to the switches, the open bottom, which considering the magnetic effects of Hall effect sensors is more than ideal to have it this way, left the PCB susceptible to seepage. I just want to say, if you ever put so much lube on a switch that seeping occurs, you have applied way too much lube to that switch. It's the difference between applying a thin layer of chapstick to your lips versus slapping yourself in the mouth with a handful of Vaseline. The same person also mentioned the incompatibility with other HE switches or Hall effect switches, magnetic switches if you will. So as these specific switches were designed to work with this specific keyboard, it's kind of an offshoot chance if it will or won't work with another Hall effect keyboard PCB. There isn't a lot of HE mag switches out there. Most of the ones that are out there are proprietary in their own right with a pen layout, to which these pinks have none. If anything, other switches aren't compatible with this because of their pins, more than this isn't compatible with other switch inputs on other keyboards. That's my 2 cents on that, and as we see more HE mag switches appear over time, this may change. I do agree though that largely imperceptible differences in millimeters, micron force actuations, and milliseconds are more of a gimmick than they have any kind of real world impact. And again, at some point, the fine-tunedness of this sort of thing is more about the feel-good sensation. The caps are double-shot PBT and are not dissimilar from just about anything else on the market. They're pretty commonplace keycaps. I mention all of that because I know most of you just simply want to hear the Tippity Tap Test, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way and hopefully give someone an idea of what to expect from these Mag Pink switches. The K617M Fizz is a wired-only keyboard. No Bluetooth, no 2.4 gigahertz. It's simple, it's sweet, it's wired, and it's a mechanical keyboard. It's a pretty nice little package here, with the downside of the price being a little bit on the higher end. If you're new to 60% keyboards, the macro multifunction guide that comes with it are very important things to hold on to until you at least become somewhat familiar with the function hotkeys, like most 60%ers. Creative workarounds in the UI suite for print screen may be something to consider. This question gets asked a lot, so I figured I would just go ahead and forewarn you, print screen is not pre-macroed. If you're someone who would prefer to avoid UI suites for customizing the look of your lighting, most lighting swaps, brightness, and speeds can be adjusted pretty simply on the keyboard itself using function right alt, function M, and function less than, or maybe that's greater than, I don't really know. Math's been a long time. The UI suite has changed a lot. Really, ultimately, it's for the better. With this specific keyboard, we can adjust switch delay from depression to actuation using quick triggering. This is something that I'm assuming is going to be pretty much a magnetic switch only thing, something you won't get in the other K617. I can't tell you if this offers any real world or noteworthy benefit from my experience, other than it maybe just makes us feel a little better that we can have control over this. But can I tell you there's any executable difference? No. But it exists and it's here if it's something you're looking for. Redragon has also made it super simple to assign keys from non-existing keys, like print screen that I mentioned earlier. In this case, I can quickly reassign the menu button on the right hand side to be the print screen button. And further, I can assign my own combos and multifunction keys. Macro recording has a new look, but ultimately follows the same premise as it always has in Redragon software. Senior keys are something I struggle to really wrap my mind around. Probably won't be for me, but if this is a feature you are familiar with and looking for, it's here. I tried with it for a bit, but ultimately I just moved on. I like this whole layout a lot better. Adjusting the styles and colors, it's easy to do on the fly, and customizing the backlighting is super simple. I hope this quick overview was helpful and useful to somebody. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video that I do.